I never considered myself superstitious, but my perspective changed last week. I recently moved into a small, old apartment in a quiet part of town. The building had a certain charm, with its creaky floors and antique fixtures, and the rent was too good to pass up. Everything was fine until I found the diary. It was tucked away in a hidden compartment beneath a loose floorboard in the bedroom. The leather cover was worn, and the pages were yellowed with age. Curious, I started reading. The diary belonged to a woman named Eliza, who had lived in the apartment in the 1920s. Her entries started out mundane, notes about her daily life, her love for gardening, and her fondness for the apartment. But as I read further, the entries grew darker. Eliza wrote about strange occurrences, objects moving on their own, whispers in the night, and a recurring nightmare about a shadowy figure standing at the foot of her bed. One entry in particular stood out. Eliza described how she had discovered a small door behind the wallpaper in the living room. She claimed that when she opened it, she found a narrow pitch-black corridor that seemed to go on forever. She wrote about hearing whispers urging her to come inside, but she always closed the door before she could follow. I was both intrigued and unnerved. I decided to see if the door was still there. It took me a while, but I eventually found a faint outline behind the wallpaper, just as Eliza had described. My heart raced as I peeled back the wallpaper, revealing a small, wooden door. With a deep breath I opened it. The corridor beyond was exactly as Eliza had written, narrow and impossibly dark. I grabbed a flashlight and stepped inside, the beam barely cutting through the thick darkness. The whispers began almost immediately, faint and distant at first, but growing louder with each step I took. The corridor twisted and turned, seemingly without end. I lost track of time and distance. The air grew colder, and the whispers more urgent. I was about to turn back when I saw a faint light up ahead. I quickened my pace, desperate to find the source. The corridor opened into a small, dimly lit room. In the center was a single, flickering candle, and beside it a mirror. The whispers stopped abruptly, replaced by a heavy silence. I approached the mirror and saw my reflection, or at least I thought it was my reflection. The figure in the mirror looked like me, but there was something wrong. Its eyes were hollow, and its mouth twisted into a sinister smile. Before I could react, the figure stepped out of the mirror and into the room. I turned and ran, the cold air biting at my skin and the sound of footsteps echoing behind me. I didn't stop until I was back in my apartment, slamming the door shut and collapsing on the floor. I haven't opened the door since. The diary disappeared, and the whispers have stopped, but I can't shake the feeling that something followed me back. If you ever find a hidden door in an old apartment, leave it alone. Some things are better left undiscovered.
Make sure to like and subscribe for more.